Hi everyone, it's Kate here, and today I wanted to do a video with you guys about the 10 authors I'm interested in reading more from. So these are either authors that I've read only one of, or I've read none of their books and I'm really interested in reading more. So the first one is So Big by Edna Ferber. I read Giant by her a few years ago and it's really good. It's an epic about this family in Texas and their ranch and just kind of everything that happens to their family, and it sounds really interesting and I really liked what I read from her. She also has a fair number of short story collections, so I might be interested in checking those out after reading this. Next is Willa Cather. I read My Antonia this summer and loved it so much. It was unbelievably beautiful. So this is Death Comes for the Archbishop, and I also have O Pioneers and Song of a Lark, so I have plenty of options when I want to get to more of her. Next is W. Somerset Maugham. I love everything I read from him. He is a sublime writer. I underline so much when I read his books. I don't know how you guys feel about underlining, but I'm okay with underlining because I like to look back at it later. So I know this and Of Human Bondage are kind of considered his two masterpieces. So I really would like to read more of him. Next is Dodie Smith. This is The Town in Bloom. I read I Captured the Castle a couple years ago and just loved it so much and laughed out loud a lot while I read it. So I'd like to read more from her, and this one I've heard nothing but good things about. Next is Evelyn Waugh. I would find it really interesting to read him because he's the same era as P.G. Wodehouse, which I've read a little bit of, but a lot more serious, and Brideshead Revisited sounds really interesting and fascinating. Next is Angela Thirkell. I heard about her from my dad a few years ago and still haven't actually read any of hers, but I bought some of these beautiful Virago Modern Classics a couple years ago, so I definitely want to get to them. I just love how they look. And it sounds really fun, just kind of similar to Miss Read, if any of you know who that is. Just really calm and like sleepy little towns but funny things that happen. So yes, Angela Thirkell. The next is Nancy Mitford. Been wanting to read her for years, and the more I hear about the Mitfords, the more interesting they sound. So this is Christmas Pudding and Pigeon Pie. I think I'm going to read Christmas Pudding around Christmas time. Next is Gerald Durrell. I have 3 of his books, and he just sounds so funny, and I recommended him to my sister-in-law, even though I hadn't read him yet, but she said she was laughing out loud while she was reading the book, and it sounds really neat and different than any other book I've read, you know, boyhood set in the Mediterranean, so I'm really interested to read some more, or read any of Gerald Durrell. Then next, this is a French author, and please correct me if I'm saying it wrong. I think it's Marcel Pagnol. This is My Father's Glory and My Mother's Castle. I've watched these 2 movies, and he's also a screenwriter and movie director, and he directed The Well Digger's Daughter a few years ago, which is one of my favorite movies. And I just think his books will be really poetic with beautiful prose, and I'm really excited to read these. And then lastly is Eudora Welty. I grew up in Mississippi, and so I'm really interested in reading her. She's one of the only famous authors from Mississippi, along with William Faulkner. So I really want to get to her, and this one sounds fun. It's just about a big Southern family during a wedding, and probably all of the craziness that happens because everyone's stressed out about the wedding. But she also writes a fair number of short stories, so I would be interested in reading more of those. So yes, those are the 10 authors I'm interested in reading more. Let me know if there are any of these that sound interesting to you, anybody wants to do buddy reads, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.